cables from deep surplus.
So who else has got a tool out here they want to?
I have brought along 2 tools.
Okay.
I'm a huge fan of Leatherman tools. So I've developed a buying procedure, a testing procedure, because one of the biggest, these are my 2 here, these. One of the biggest problems with multi-tools is when you actually open them up and try to use them for the
That
pliers.
one's a little tricky. You got to.
That's too weird for me.
Well, this one is a vice grip.
Right, so this actually
vice
meets
grip.
the first.
Yes.
This is a Leatherman Surge, and it has fixed the flaws of the older Leathermans. Is that when you really crank on it,
Yeah.
it cuts your hands because they've made sharp edges. So they've inverted the Leatherman tool. It used to be things would open from the inside. And so this is mine as well.
So you like the ones with pliers on them too?
I have to have pliers because that's what I need, but I've also found that the Juice CS4, which is this one, has got the bottle opener and the can opener. So when you, it's like that's
And it's
finally
long
what I can
nose
use for
pliers,
can.
which is kind of nice.
And it's got scissors.
Yeah, but they're tiny scissors.
They are tiny scissors.
I think price levels would also be interesting.
Yeah, I'm usually not interested in paying like $150 for one of them. You know, the Leathermans tend to be fairly inexpensive though.
This was a free tool, and it's basically for flat screwdrivers, and it's deceptively, simple, but I've used it so often that, I wouldn't take it off my keychain anymore.
Just a little pry tool.
Yeah,
Right,
it's just
right,
basically
screwdrivers.
4 flat screwdrivers with a surface to hold it.
Good gap reader.
This is not even a Swiss Army knife. This is like a knockoff one too. Is
I
it?
don't know. I change them all the time because I leave them in airports when they come.
So
Oh, cool.
yeah, this is a Chinese knockoff. So who knows who makes Swiss Army knives?
Victorinox.
And
Helvetic Health.
Winger.
Winger.
Both Victorinox and Winger are authorized Swiss Army knife makers.
At the airport, if they take something away when you get on the flight, they should give you the choice of taking something at the end of your flight from the people
can
that
upgrade.
housed it at that end, right?
Yeah.
Here's my trick. What I usually do is I forget to take my pocket knife out of my pocket.
Right,
So
you
I
should get like a
go into
voucher.
one of the places
You
that
should
sell
get a voucher,
magazines.
you can pick up a knife at the other end.
Magazine.
idea.
You go what? I pick a shitty magazine.
Yeah.
And I hide my knife behind the back of the shittiest magazine. in the store. And then I come right back through. On my way back, I go right back to that shitty magazine. Not one copy's been taken. And there's my knife.
That's what I'm going
Oh,
for.
so you hide it.
Exactly.
So you hide
That's
it
smart, man.
at the.
This is only when
Airport.
I forgot. This is only when I've forgotten to take it out of my carry-on.
Well, but a lot of these airports have drop-offs. If you pay $10 or whatever, you don't want to
Pay
pay
$10.
You'll take your
We're gonna
risk.
do it for free in the.
It's not like anybody's gonna buy that magazine. You know
Well,
it.
you gotta
I
make
will
sure
now.
It's like,
I'm gonna be hunting.
I'm gonna be looking at the shittiest magazine in the airport to see what I can find.
Another's,
Cat fancy,
I
right?
did this in Burbank.
That's an easy airport to do it. So this is actually a real Swiss Army knife, even though it's ugly as crap.
it's like a hippie knife or something.
It was a horrible marketing
I can use
effort
that to
between
open your
Swatch
bottle, your wine
and
bottle.
Winger. But there was these guys. I bought this about 10 years ago, and I beat the hell out of this knife because they were on sale for like $2 because they were so friggin' ugly nobody wanted to buy them. But who cares? It's a knife. I don't care what it looks like.
I found my other. This is my other new everyday carry, and it is a money clip. So it's a one-sided blade, and
Oh, it's a
so
money
it-
clip and a knife.
That way,
It's
when
a
somebody
money
tries to take your money, you shank them.
it's like, oh yeah, dude, here's my money. Here it is.
Which
This
model
is
it?
CRKT Cricket
It's
band.
actually pretty tight.
CRKT.
CRKT is the brand Cricket.
So basically, the money's the handle for the knife.
It does.
When it's
yeah,
full,
that's
right?
it. Yeah. Full of 20s and hundreds. Benjamin. It's
blood
all
all
about
And
Benjamin.
credit-
Yeah.
And plastic,
Can I see that?
presumably.
Well, no.
I
I
googled
don't
it
do-
and
I
I
wouldn't
found a
put a
form
credit
called
card.
Blade Form.
Oh yeah, it
So
doesn't
they
even.
just
Isn't that the idea?
That's nice.
No. It's for bills. It's not. It's not for cards.
But here's a question: do you use all the features on your devices? or no?
Me?
But it's just the comfort of knowing that they're there.
I
do.
tend to. The one thing, like especially for Swiss Army knives, it's one thing I don't ever use much is the friggin' tweezers. If it comes with tweezers, I find them to be worthless.
I use them all the time.
I don't find that they work
I
for
think
anything.
they're good for cleaning little things.
But oddly, I use the toothpick in a Swiss Army knife, and I'll use the ballpoint pen if I have one. I used to have one that
Do
had
you use
ballpoint pen.
the little tiny screwdriver that you screw up?
No,
the
I've never
screw?
used that.
Really? I use that all the time too.
Really? I think I just lost it, and then I never.
I've
It's
actually
gone.
used the tweezers for splinters.
I don't feel like they apply enough power.
I actually get splinters just so I can pull them out of my finger with my finger.
I just embed the toothpick in my finger and then I remove the
So,
tweezers.
Did it
there.
come with instructions as to how to basically turn a mugging into a?
It actually had. It didn't. They weren't
we
in
should
English.
pass some of
It was
these
just icons.
Take,
of like
touch
a
it,
mugging
pass these
scene,
around if
little
you're
like-
out.
Holy
You know
crap,
what
that
you
thing
should
is
do? You
long.
should get a picture. You
Exclamation
should,
point
you
and
should
then
splay.
stab it.
So you guys should
No.
splay them all on the table
did?
and get a shot.
Yeah.
Just me making that up.
Oh.
Yeah.
So this you notice a lot of these have
Yeah, bring it.
Hey, did you bring your tool?
Yeah. Are you serious? You guys like?
So who makes this one?
What's going on?
This is a Victorinox.
It's on the board over there.
Victorinox
just
Swiss
That
tool.
means
It's
it must
called.
be official.
Wow,
It is
that's
on the
huge.
board.
That's been
That's
around
nice.
for a while.
It's a
We're
guy
showing off our
their
tools.
off party.
So you notice
This one's pretty.
there's a lot of
There's
pliers
something
out here,
phallic
right?
about this whole exercise.
Oh, it's
There you go. There you go.
knife.
He makes fun of us.
He'll appreciate that, man.
After he does this.
Excuse me?
Does that look like leather to you?
Excuse me? Was anybody over there on the game while you were there?
Oh, I didn't see.
Dang.
I love Tonto in front.
Yes, that's not a
You know.
not a
Speaking of your turning a mugging into
Yeah,
stabbing.
I like what's it called? Plausible deniability. Yeah, it really is
See,
just
this is a
a
money
letter
clip
opener.
with a knife.
So you notice a lot of these have pliers, right?
With
Doesn't
the
seem to be biased
It's
towards
a knife. It's
pliers.
got a helmet. It's
Yeah.
got a knife, and it includes a knife next to it.
So
Exactly.
Well, they're all variations of a plier or a wrench or a clamp or a.
You were saying
so the
Yeah, my leather.
half the time I have pliers, I use the pliers and I figure out, oh, what I really wanted was a vice grip. So Leatherman came out with this one. It's a little bit clunky, but it's a Leatherman Crunch. It's a vice grip in it.
Yeah.
So it's pretty nice.
I got a question for you. The thing I carry with me is not just my Leatherman, but I also carry zip ties
Yep.
at all times and rope. And what are those other indispensable things you can't leave home without?
Why rope? Tape.
What's up?
Why rope?
Why rope? Tie knots.
Credit
Gaffer's tapes, zip ties, and
Some duct tape.
some,
MacGyver.
We are going on set.
And a
That's
span,
like
and a
that
span
set.
set.
Yeah, I sort of think of it
That's
as
a set kit. Like zip.
Yeah,
Big bundle zip ties,
basically.
one zip tie around it on your belt loop.
Have you guys? But you know what takes the cake?
This thing's
Are
for
those
cutting static
electrician
line.
scissors. Have you guys seen those electrician scissors? Those old ones that like
Yeah, I know.
the old bearded guys use.
Yeah, but that
Someone who
shit's
knows how to use those can just do all sorts of little, grooves and stuff
Yeah,
on them.
little
They can
teeth.
shield cable and stuff.
Yeah, they're awesome.
Those are really cool.
So this is a Leatherman Surge, and I actually like this one a lot. First of all, the pliers are substantial, and the screwdrivers, etc., are substantial. The bit can be reversed for flathead or Phillips. But the other reason why I like it is because the blades themselves are on the outside. So, for example, when I pull this out of my pocket with a single hand, I can open up the blade with without having to involve the other hand. So, like if I'm holding a box, I need to slice it open. This is really nice to be able to do that, and it has 4 parts. I just clipped my nails, but and here's a really good solid file. There's a serrated blade on the other side, and then the best part for this, and this is what was the selling point for me, is that this actually has a really functional set of scissors. Compared to the scissors that are on the other knives, I can cut through, at least in my experience, I can cut through more stuff with this size scissors than I can with the smaller ones. Even though this is only maybe a ½ inch longer than the tiny ones. And and this only sells for like $70, I think, maybe even 60 on Amazon.
That's cool. It's a big one.
That's
Yeah.
the one.
Sometimes what I really want is just
That's the one that got. That's the one that TSA just.
That's
updated
good.
about a couple weeks ago.
Yeah.
I've seen the original videos when they were
Why
trying
didn't
to
use
open
it? I
these
had
things
to
up,
make
and they probably still work afterwards.
Yeah, open
Yeah,
up
these-
the
this
iPhone or
little
open
dip
up the
that
head
they
with
have
it.
in here.
No, when they were trying to crack the iPhone, in the early days,
Right.
it took a lot of work to get them open. So they might even still work after bludgeoning.
Oh, well, this is another multi-tool just because it's where you're having the multifunctional things. This is a hiking stick from REI, and if you take off the ball that's on the top, it has a camera mount underneath.
Wow.
And so, if you screw a lightweight camera on there, and
They advertise that,
put some
or
weights on
did
the
they-
bottom.
Did they advertise it, or did you just discover it?
I have made this up, but I discovered it partly on the internet. Somebody made a Steadicam out of like pipes. It's just so basically, you know, you put it on movie mode and put fresh batteries in it, and then you can it's, a lot of it is in the art, but the art of driving a Steadicam takes high frequency vibrations out of your walking. So because the weight acts as a counterbalance and it slows everything down. So a multifunctional tool as well.
You crack people over the head with your walking stick.
Yes, exactly.
Poke 'em in the eye.
And then this is an old one that got damaged in salt water, and so I tore it up. And I used it a couple weeks ago making a movie. And I had it just lashed to it like this so that I could actually hold it with one hand here and use it to steer like this. And that helped a lot. So I'm still working on the physics of it. I think I need to have a bigger weight and support the camera up higher, because what I get is this swing. I'm not sure how to eliminate the pendulum effect. So let's copy.
I don't know if it would work, but I saw this in some magazine or online somewhere. Same premise, except that for someone who doesn't want to carry that large of a item, it was just a strap with a loop at the bottom, and you put the loop around your foot, and the strap went up to the bottom of the camera, so you could basically, you know, guide the camera and have that tension between your foot and that. And maybe if you put a small strap on the bottom of that and attach it to your foot, you might be able to get that.
Just don't drop it on your foot.
Oh.
You can't go on a hike while you're doing that, though. But yeah, I've used
no,
it.
I've walked
You
up
can
a
walk
canyon.
around like what you're doing.
I've
But
used my
with that
camcorder.
strap, you can't do that. I've
Yeah,
used my
I think
camcorder
you-
strap
I think you
like
can.
that.
You just
Yeah?
it pivots a bit. Well, I haven't
Well,
tried
I'm
it.
sitting down, I
Just
could
on
be like
any kind
this.
of a piece of
Yeah, but not while you're
anything
walking.
that gives you a-
No, you
Yeah.
wouldn't do it while you're walking.
What he's doing is awesome because he's
Yeah.
doing
Yeah, this juice is nice.
Oh, what was the other? Oh, the other thing that I always look for in Army knives, because I go camping a lot, is ability to open a can of food.
Yeah, you ever been camping without a can opener?
I have.
Yeah, getting the can open. That's a
Start
challenge.
bashing that
When
thing
you
out.
realize when you get to camp and the thing
Yeah.
that you brought, like the crappy can opener on this thing, cannot. I had to hammer it in with another blade, and then I could get it going.
What is
But,
that?
That's something that I evaluate as well.
Yeah, definitely.
That's a soul stealer.
Oh, here's another one.
Wow.
Oh, that was cool.
These are the big Swiss Army knives with the locking blade.
They use in Men in Black.
Right, and then the locking mechanism is another big thing.
Always the downfall of the regular Swiss Army knife is the no locking blade.
No locking blade.
I forgot to bring my left-handed one, which is hard to find these
They make
days.
a left-handed one?
Yep.
The same style of that, but left-handed.
A little bit smaller, the traditional size, but left-handed. But the only functioning left-handed scissors. I was having a conversation with it this morning, believe it or not. Only functional left-handed scissors I've ever freaking found.
On a Leatherman tool. On a Swiss Army knife.
Yeah.
And does it also, are the order of knife and whatever reversed so that you can flip it out, the knife in your left hand?
Yep.
Nice.
There are few enough tools for left-handers.
Did you see the
It was supposed to be
the
right-handed,
Simpsons
but they just
episode with
reversed
the
the blueprints
Leftatorium
back.
with Flanders?
No.
He said it was great. He opens up the store and everything in the store is just made for people with left-handed. Using a left-handed.
Well, if you've ever tried to use a circular saw,
left-handed or right-handed
left-handed,
is against him.
a traditional circular saw, you will sever your hands.
Oh,
If
really?
you try to use it left-handed, because it's just wrong, that you'll just do that.
There's a lot of tools that
I'll
are
try
like
not to do that.
right or left-handed that people don't necessarily think of that way.
Like a shotgun.
Saws,
Pencils,
Did you
guns,
say
That's why you
shotgun?
screwdrivers.
That's why you gotta use an
yeah,
uppercut.
screwdrivers because you're righty-tighty,
Because
lefty-loosey.
it
You hit the
ejects
face.
the shells straight down rather
Yeah.
than out to the side. Yeah. Or the old M16 before they put that little bar in there, put it right up your cheek. Man, that hurt.
Oh shit.
The ejection would put a red hot shell right off your cheekbone.
Yeah, 'cause
Right. So yeah, I remember shooting one, and it's right. Huh.
Yep.
yeah, huh.
You guys know how to find out your dominant eye
Yeah, put
for
it.
shooting?
Whichever one you shoot better with.
It's not necessarily your.
You go like this on whatever
Yes.
eye.
So you hold your hands out in front of you, and you make a small aperture with with the little triangle there, and you pick something out there that you're going to focus on, and you look at it, and then you move the aperture up into your field of vision so it's you can see through the aperture into what you're looking at, and then just bring it back to your eye naturally, and it'll come back to one eye.
Or the way that I did it is do it and then close an
Yeah,
eye,
close
and then
an eye.
whatever eye stays looking at that thing.
That's
your
that's
dominant
exactly
eye.
the same exercise.
Yeah.
So that, what it tells me is that even though I'm right-handed, I should be shooting with my left eye because it has it's stronger dominant eye.
I guess it also depends on your coordination.
Yeah, it's really hard for me to shoot with my left eye.
So-
Everything's wrong.
so
This
what-
is fine.
Ever tried bow and arrow? Bow and arrow is where
Yeah.
I can only do that left-handed.
I haven't recently.
So what
Been a
other
long time.
multi-tool brands are there? There's Gerber, Leatherman. I just learned about the CC Cricket, whatever. it is.
Cricket,
There's a SOG out there on the table.
SOG Paratool,
What's it called? SOG.
SOG Special Operations Group.
Oh, SOG.
This is one of the early ones with pliers. It's a little old and clunky, but
Let's take a look at that.
Is that for the guys who read Filter or Fortune a lot?
no. That was just one of the first tools that came out with pliers.
So what's your fascination with this? Do you remember your first multi-tool?
One time at bar camp, I had my first
Multi-tool,
multi
no.
tool.
When did you
But-
discover your?
There's a whole track of thought going around recently about like your kid should have a knife.
Oh yeah,
Right?
totally.
Right?
They can do so much more damage with it.
Right?
Oh yeah, there's this
I don't know,
camp,
you
but
tell
there's
me.
that
I carried
camp where they
knives
do
since I was 7
there's this
years old,
camp where they
baby.
do
Come on.
dangerous shit and you let them use
There's
knives and
tinkering
fire.
school.
Yeah.
There's a guy. He's a
You ever
lead
heard of
developer
this?
at Adobe. He runs this place called Tinkering School up in the Bay Area, and it's basically a camp you send your kid to for a week. And it's like the first thing they do is go, "Here's your DeWalt drill," and now we're gonna build shit. And it's a little interesting and dangerous.
It's one of those like most dangerous book for boys or something like
Kinda
that.
like that.
Yeah.
But
I
yeah,
haven't seen that. What's that?
It's like a.
my family was definitely like here's your knife kind of family.
It's exactly that. Is like here's all the things that you could do to kill yourself, and here's the ways to not actually do it. Not actually kill
cool.
yourself while doing them.
Yep.
I mean, I had my first knife when I was 5. I mean, I had a Swiss Army knife.
BB guns is like
Yeah.
probably something that most young boys are out there shooting cats with.
We had a totem chip for the Boy Scouts.
A what?
It was a totem
Yes,
chip.
I
It was
think
called.
my first tool was probably Cub Scout knife.
Yeah, probably it's right, and it had one blade on it, little blue knife, one blade.
One blade.
And the totem chip is it's a little license to carry, and it has as I promise I won't use it for weapon, and on the back it has like the basic rules of safe knife using, including axe, like how to use an axe and chop wood, clear area and everything, all this knife handling stuff, and
What was
then
it called? The
tote and chip, so you can tote a knife
Oh.
and use it to whittle tote and chip. And so then if anybody busted you by seeing you do something unsafe, if it was a senior, they could just flip the corner of your tote and chip, and if they were junior to you and caught you, they could report you, and you might lose a corner. And so if you lost your 4th corner, you take it away, you have to wait 6 months before you can take the exam again to carry. So it engendered a lot of respect for the blade. You had 7-year-old kids running around, everybody had knives. Of course.
But now you go to jail or something, I think, if you take a knife to school, more or less.
Pretty much.
It got that way by the time I was in high school. It was, I had to hold myself back and not bring knives into school anymore. It was like,
There's a total zero. I mean, even the smallest little knife here, you get kicked out of a lot of schools. There's any sort of blade on them.
Probably a toothpick can get kicked out of.
Yeah, probably,
Really?
yeah.
It's gonna make
Well,
some
yeah,
of
we
these
saw
guns
that
bleed.
kid getting suspended for doing this on the playground. I mean, come on, how ridiculous.
Well, he had a loaded finger.
There is.
He asked another kid to pull it.
I don't know. I grew up out in the country from the age of like 8 on. I was shooting ground squirrels so the horses wouldn't break their legs in the ground squirrel.
yeah, my grandpa was a gunsmith, so we had guns, man. There were guns in the drawer next to the silverware, and there was guns hanging in the hallway and next to the grandpa's jacket. And there were guns everywhere, and like he had his workshop, and there were like guns in pieces, but there was ammo, and it was only locked up.
Did you ever use the
There
butt
was-
of a 45 to tenderize a steak?
No, but my grandpa did make bullets. at dinner time
Oh,
while
with the-
on the stove, like lead.
Oh, he didn't actually have
That's
any
make some bullets.
That's
So we boil some lead here and cook some potatoes here.
Wow.
This was the old days before you realized that you shouldn't
some lead gravy
boil
on them potatoes.
You shouldn't boil.
Makes a man out of you.
I don't see that money clip knife on its website.
I got it at REI.
You can get it at Fry's as well.
I got it at Fry's. I got it at Fry's.
I remember that Fry's.
REI's?
There you go.
F-R-E-I.
It's
It means
the new
free in
store.
Germany.
It's the new store.
It's the
Spyderco makes a multi-tool now, don't they?
That's right.
Spyderco.
Spyderco making a multi-tool? I thought they did.
Spyderco.
Yeah, they make the pliers.
Oh,
They're
Spider
nice.
with the
They're
Y.
nice. Yeah, Spider with the Y.
I got busted
This
at the
is
airport
really-
with a big fat Spyderco knife.
You got what?
I got busted at the airport. I had been camping, and I had lost my knife. And happily, the X-ray machine at the airport found my knife. Because I had looked and hunted, and I'm very careful at getting rid of all bearing knives that I always carry, or I go through it. And so it totally surprised me. And it says police on it, because it's one of those big ones that you can't get unless you can't order across state lines, unless you have a hotline officer, or
Yeah, that's not the good one to have on the airplane.
yeah, it's great. So the guy's like, they haul me out of line. They say, "Excuse me, sir, is this yours?" Yeah, that's mine. I've been looking for it. Thanks. So they said, "Are you a police? Are you a police officer?" I'm like, "Well, just a friend of mine. He gave it to me." So eventually they let me ship it. They let me check it. They walked me down to the check-in area, and I checked it and got it on the other end. But for the courtesy of all that, I had to pay like $150 fine and admit guilt that I had attempted.
Oh, you're on a terrorist watch list.
Oh, I am
brother.
so on that list.
Do you know I got my keys confiscated. I used to have a plastic Kubaton. You know what those are?
Yeah, they wouldn't let you
Little
use them.
Yawar, and this was before 9/11. This was actually in the 80s, and I was on a cross-country flight. They confiscated that keychain and told me that I would either have to throw it away or have it shipped and pay the. I threw away the key, but it was a plastic fucking Kubaton.
What's a Kubaton?
They're
It's a
little.
little Yawara stick.
Yeah. What's
Yeah.
a Yawara?
Pressure point thing.
For combat. It's just
Okay.
a keychain.
It's
No,
It's a lethal weapon.
It was. I was like, wait, I'm gonna hold up the phone. I mean, the plane with this fucking piece of plastic. You gotta be kidding me. They confiscated it.
Actually, here's a interesting tip. If you want to know how for your luggage never to ever be lost, check a starter pistol. Have a starter pistol in your luggage, or a pistol in your luggage. They will track that shit.
Starter pistol?
Any kind of pistol. If you want to bring a 9mm along with you, sure, okay. But like, you know.
Put it in your check luggage because it's legal to check it.
So it's legal to check it.
As
You
long
got to
as
check
it's
at the
unloaded.
airport beforehand, but that bag will never be lost. Absolutely, positively will never be lost. They will stop planes on the tarmac.
Carve one out of soap or something and tell
Look at it
Painted
defeats the
black.
purpose.
No,
I mean,
no.
that takes the fun out of it.
Take
Because
some
they'll
sheet
find
metal
it.
and cut it out
Oh,
in the
they
shape
will
of a
find
gun,
it.
so it
Oh,
doesn't
by
take
God,
up any
they will.
space in your luggage.
Yep.
Just get a
That's
piece of
awesome. I
lead
like
and
that
cut a
idea.
little thing
That's
and-
sort of like the old way of getting good food on the, when you order dinners, you order Jewish or vegetarian or
Yeah.
something, because it's always going to be better than the run-of-the-mill anything.
These days somebody should organize like a national
Yeah.
like fly with a gun day.
Yeah, exactly.
Like
Fly
everybody,
with your gun day.
everybody shows up at the airport that day with a gun, and they just go nuts because they can't deal with like that many people in line.
That'd be awesome.
Fly with your gun day. It's not even like take your daughter to work day. It's fly with a gun day. That's awesome.
Airports and the baggage handler claim
As
that there's
if
going to be
this-
a lot of guns going
As
through
if
there.
this session
Let's
could
put it
get more
that way.
foul.
They've recently, this last year, they've fired like many hundreds of people from the TSA. 3% of the total population of TSA have been busted for thieving.
For what?
3% of the employees that search your baggage
Theft.
have been
That's it?
busted for theft.
It'd be pretty damn
Well, that's
tempting.
I think
huge.
it'd be more.
Yeah.
Yeah, it would be.
Well, it's
For
like
your
now
Euro
she's not going to
$8
use this
an hour or
Kubaton
whatever.
anymore. Yoink.
I used to be in charge of doing the investigations on the guys down at LAX, and boy, was that ever terrible after 9/11. They just put in like this crazy radical hiring policies, and they were just throwing bodies at it.
Oh.
They brought in all kinds of people that had no business getting security clearances. So they were doing things like getting high on the job, and they were having sex on the baggage cards. They were molesting the tourists as they were going through, like, you know, the checked lines. It was ridiculous. One guy actually, you know, on the runways, they have these big sweeper things, big street sweepers. They sweep up the pieces of rubber. Apparently, the guy had like a 4-footer bong in there. He was working on the sweeper thing.
It was a didgeridoo.
Yeah, and he just kind of drove off the side into like the sand dunes at the end of LA. Well, the problem was is that, you know, to close the runway off, they put a couple of big steel I-beams in the shape of an X on the runway, so that the plane won't land, you know, on this. And they radio to this guy, and they're like, "Hey, are you done there?" He's like, "Yeah." Exactly. And so they started vectoring in a bunch of 747s onto this landing strip where there's giant steel I-beams still out on it. And apparently some guy from the tower, you like looked out and screamed, had to run out there in a little pickup truck and drag him off the runway.
Oh my God.
You're FAA in action.
Oh no, I sat next to an airport on a plane trip, and next to a guy who's a pilot, and he's telling me all sorts of stories like that. There's a lot more close calls than you would imagine.
Oh yeah.
Well, let's pass everything around so everybody touches everything.
Could you specify what?
Oh jeez.
So pass around all the knives, take a look at them all.
Touch someone's tool here.
I'm glad I get to go first.
Yep.
I got sloppy
You get
seconds.
first touch.
Seconds on the tool touch.
You guys are still at it.
Oh, dude, this is the one I lost when I went to go. When I went to go see you, bro. This is the one I lost.
Yeah?
Yep, you owe me one.
What's this little hemp sack or something?
I
Yeah,
collected.
explain what your little collection of junk is there.
Oh, the red one's a CPR mask.
Oh. What you read in there, man? Oh, this one's cool. This going on YouTube or something?
Eventually it'll make its way.
I like these little square ones, these little keychain things.
That one is not made anymore. It was a Craftsman one. I really like all the features and everything that's in there, but I can't find anything exactly like it anymore.
I think that there must be some way to make
Oh, that one's cool.
I like this one.
a scissors and a pliers on the same
Leatherman
Same
Crunch.
axis?
same axis. Yeah, maybe.
Well, almost like, you know, you can buy those pliers where the
if you
it's-
could have 2 levels of flippy on this thing,
Yeah.
like flip up the pliers and then another. Or,
Something on the other side?
yeah, maybe.
I don't know how much.
It's just because they always suck.
Hmm.
The scissors. I'm so pleased that one actually has.
It's a
What
solid
are you
set of
doing? Are
scissors.
you looking for like a tin snips or something?
No, nothing crazy like that. But for an everyday carry,
This is the one that's
actually.
Some old school.
Show me those again.
Yeah,
Exactly.
I usually don't care about scissors.
Oh, that's show me
That's
that
the
one.
one
'Cause I didn't get to mess with that.
I like to have on me that
Oh,
I
nice.
miss if I
And then
don't.
you just push the
I
push
almost
the
always
button right
think
there to open it?
if I have a knife, I can live without.
Why does it feel bad?
God, is this for
Because
like
like, why does that feel
nails?
backwards? Because it's in the wrong hand.
It's just a little pry bar. That whole thing is a pry bar. And
cool.
they say those two tips are
pretty
like
cool.
the screwdriver things, or you can use it to pull some nails or something.
Screwdriver thing, what do you mean?
Like the two little ends of the pry, you can use for screws.
Oh, this is
And then the
very-
other end, there's a little Phillips.
This is a very kind of elegant tool. I like
that one.
I think for $10, it's a pretty handy thing.
Well, if worse comes to worse, you forget it, you just pull out that blade
Yeah.
at the airport.
Isn't it that they're not supposed to take anything with a blade under 4 inches?
I don't think they'll let anything on.
No,
I think it's
no.
anything
I mean,
with
a
like
box cutter's
above
under 4
four
inches.
They don't even let.
Not every day, yeah, one has to be.
There's this. You can't bring like certain parts of knitting stuff. Like you can't. Those are so they're.
You can't
This is
bring
pretty tight, too.
knitting needles.
Yes.
Even plastic ones where you're like,
Little-
seriously?
Yes, I think
Little
they-
exacto.
Scary.
It's got a little
Yeah, they say
exacto.
yes, but then they
Like a little
they tell you
Phillips.
they're not gonna let you fly.
But if you'll notice, the ladies who knit.
There are knitting needles now that are tips with hollow, soft tubes
Hmm.
to meet FAA requirements.
But there's these necklaces. You'll see the old ladies who knit wear them, where it's just a little thing so they can snip their the yarn when they're done. There's no other way to access the blade unless you like fit it through that. And then sometimes the airlines won't even let the ladies wear those.
Yeah, I mean, I can understand those giant, scary anodized aluminum needles.
Yeah.
But most
Did you
of
read
them
that
are-
article where Bruce Schneier suggested bring steel epoxy with you?
Tell people who he is that they don't know.
Sharpen it.
Yeah. Oh, so Bruce Schneier is a security expert. He's made it his.
He's like chief of security for like British Telecom or something.
His
Big company.
his company is Counterpaint, and they're contracted to British Telecom.
Right, okay.
But he wrote the best cryptography book ever, and then just went into general security, and now makes it his mission to embarrass Kip Hawley in the air.
Yeah, he pretty much fucks with the TSA with us.
And I don't know where the article was, but recently he said,
Atlantic.
you know, pardon?
Atlantic Monthly.
The Atlantic Monthly. So he says, get on the airplane with a piece of cardboard and some steel epoxy in a tube. You can put that in your little plastic bag, your little 40-ounce
Less than
plastic.
3 ounces.
Bring JB Mullen with you.
Yeah, exactly. And then go into the bathroom and fold your cardboard in half. Pour the steel epoxy in. Put I don't know, spoon handle in there. Let it harden. Sharpen it a little bit with a grindstone, and you have a knife.
Well, I mean, any of that kind of stuff. I mean, like if you,
Or if you want a knitting needle.
If you've ever gone on a tour of a prison or anything, they usually have a little section, a little bookcase of
Yeah,
like
shit.
shit prisoners have made to kill each other. And it's like pretty much I had like a coffee cup and some grass, and now I killed you.
No, them, yeah, them.
In prison, that's like the armory, right?
Right, yeah,
And
exactly.
all you gotta do is get as
So
far
you're
as
like-
the armory.
So you're like, so basically, there's no terrorists that have ever been to prison, because I'm sure there's. It's ridiculous, right?
There's also a thing you can put in like your bag, and they spell things now when they look at it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
When I signed up for the EFF and I gave them a bunch of money, they gave me a.
Like it spells out things on the
It's a
X-ray.
sheer metal
Like,
on
they gave me
it's
TSA
a
stuff.
simple
What
message
is
that
privacy
privacy is my concern, not yours,
like the
or
members of the Constitution.
nothing to see here, or
And,
things like that.
So I put it in my wallet.
Then
and
arguments
I
made.
beep.
Nice.
And the idea is that
What the hell
X-rays
is that?
will,
Pull it out. Oh,
they will
these are my
scan
rights.
this and
Here you
see the
go.
metal plate, but the stencil that's
I've
given them,
I've donated.
Yeah, you can
which
put
of
those
course
in
is
there.
probably going to just antagonize the
That's the
TSA.
kind of thing that gets you put on watch lists. Watch lists.
I wish I bought the one that I got in Russia, a KGB one. It's really cool. I
We
was
do
hoping,
too.
I was hoping that they had like, you know, like little poison dart launchers or something from it, but no, it's just boring old copy.
How does one close this?
Gerber artifact, $10.
Whose is this one with the little
Yeah, push that little lock on the side.
on the
Here
side?
it is, $10.
That little pressure plate there is a lock. Yeah. Yeah, push the hell out of it.
Okay, push the hell out of it.
Really? Are these the scissors that actually work?
Those are the scissors. You have
They work for me, yeah.
you have to push it. Push it.
Did you see the juice scissors?
Open it all the way, and they'll spring back out somehow.
Open the leather one?
No, I don't know what I did either, but if they don't spring out unless you like
Jesus.
there, no, there.
That's
Now they work.
Oh, those actually are pretty cool.
Right.
I love them.
Spyderco's are nice.
Spyderco's are nice
Holy
knives.
crap! This is like a $300 knife.
Well, I don't buy those ones.
Jeez, like, that was $230.
There's plenty of Spyderco's one of those knife companies where it's like there's like last year's models, then you can get those like much cheaper because like they're not cool anymore or something.
They're kind of the Apple of knives.
Yeah.
It's like, wow, that's really expensive, and then it's like, oh, that was last year's model. You can buy it like on a refurb site or whatever for really cheap.
Right.
If you like to browse these, go to your local Fry's, and they have a aisle that has Gerber, Leatherman, you know, etc. Just it's a great place to just take a look. You know, if you want to get your hands on the knives and take a look at
These
them.
little Gerber ones right here. I was thinking about picking up a bunch of these just for Christmas. Like, send me a case. Just start handing them out to people.
Oh, now I've got another one that I can't close.
You have to press this little lever there, and that allows you to.
Oh, okay.
All right, we are done.
That's a nice one.
Everybody should take their knives back. This one.